Oh, Peggy, that meal was delicious. Did you enjoy it?
Oh, wow. Did I ever? Can't you see it? Oh, my goodness.
No, you are perfect.
Wow.
You're perfect. I swear every morning I wake up and I'm on a new diet, and then by the evening
Tell me
it's dinner
about
time,
it.
I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I think if we apply the discipline that we have in the business to like fitness and stuff, we'd be great.
Yeah.
But how cool that we eat at these restaurants and we just like, on a random weekday, Leo and me will say, let's go there. We'll take the kids in the middle of the day to the kind of places that people normally only go for celebrations.
Right.
And when you look around, what I've started to see is people doing like more exciting stuff with different schedules out of that routine. They're all business owners. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And I
That's
feel like
true.
Primerica has almost two sides. You've got the self-employed people who are hustling forever, and then you have the ones that learn to run systems and duplication and ownership, right?
Yes.
You told me you've been out of the field now for how many years?
21 years. It's been 21 years since I wrote don't tell.
No,
It's
that's
been 21
amazing.
years since I wrote a life insurance policy.
But that is inspiring, like especially to the people who are everyday hustling.
Yeah.
I think knowing that it can get to that point is so awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you think kind of allowed that to happen? Like if you were going back to do it again, what would you tell me with a new base shop or somebody else a couple years in are the keys to being able to make it a real business?
Oh, Nicole, I believe with all this, that we've got to recruit. We've got to understand really what large numbers are. I know, like I thought I understood.
What do you think are the right numbers that it's going to take?
I think it's going to take, I don't
Sorry for that bump.
I'm not saying the right numbers, but I know it's going to take a large amount.
Yeah.
Art Williams talked about 7 to 10 key people. And I know that there are folks
Remember Glenn said, though, add a new 7 to 10 per decade? I think it was Glenn.
Well, see, I think
Or
that's... Yeah, I think Glenn...
It's smart.
But I think that is the key, is that we've got to, continue to add that 7 to 10 your key players.
Yeah.
I believe even with the key players, you'll find, I don't know, maybe you'll have 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I know when I look at our hierarchy, I know like we've always had a minimum of 3 what I call giants.
Yeah.
And those are the people that will go above and beyond no matter what in order to get it done. And those are the people that when they say about their numbers of what they're going to do, they really do it.
We have 2 senior vice presidents direct to us.
Okay.
And they do more, the 2 of them, than almost the other 17 combined.
I understand.
Right? Or the other 15, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. And I feel like to get to where you are, we probably need 1 more giant, maybe 2 more giants.
Yes.
And then a bunch more that are good RVPs, but maybe not giants, right?
Yeah. And Nicole, I think that's the difference between owning a business. I think it's the difference between being an entrepreneur and self-employed.
Totally.
So what you said initially, when we started talking, self-employed, people are self-employed and so they're getting paid like a doctor or a lawyer or a hairstylist. And that means as long as they're working, they're making money.
Yeah.
But literally to be an entrepreneur, you've got to be able to build your business, and that's done with systems of people who want to work the system and that it's actually happening for them. And I think that was the difference when we look, like at the Francis Averets, when we look at, like the Andy Youngs, that's been like totally committed to that forever of, like getting more out. This is the other thing that I believe. You have to initially start talking about regional vice president.
Yes.
A lot of times people
It's so
wait.
different, right? We recruit 4 vice presidents.
Yes.
And then, like I say, I put everybody in my lineup
Sure.
as a future RVP.
Yes.
And I don't take you off my first string unless you tell me to or show me that you need to be taken off.
Yes.
Otherwise, from the day I meet you, my job is get you to RVP. And so many people, instead, they're recruiting, they're looking for a salesperson.
Right.
They're looking for someone they can just, see the warm market.
Yeah.
And then they're wondering why that person fizzles out, I think, because you're not casting the vision of them being a business owner of their own.
Correct. Correct.
For me, Peggy, it was all about like when I started and I saw the inside perspective when I was working in Daryl's office. I saw he had, I think at the time, 700 licensed reps.
Wow.
And he had a stack like this of clients with packs.
Okay.
Right? And he would always kind of flip through it and say, this is where it comes from.
Yes.
And so early on, that was the perspective. I need to build my agency, you know, the size of my team.
Yes.
And we need to build the AUMs. We lose sight of go, go, go. But we have to start thinking, what am I doing today to create future income too?
Right. Correct.
You know,
correct.
I started looking at Primerica as a business system.
Yes.
Like zoomed out a little bit and looked at it. I've looked at everything, Peggy. I've looked at restaurants, franchises, startups, all of it. And I can't find a business where without a couple million to start, you can build sweat equity and build an asset that is so valuable to give to your family, to sell, etc. And probably like the way some of these people today are doing it, 3 to 5 years. That's it if they do it right.
That's true. That's true.
It's
but
so
that's
exciting.
if they start looking at, you know, like ownership versus, and right now with what is that, 300,000?
Yeah, 300,000.
You know what I'm saying?
Ownership.
3 SVP, 3 regional vice presidents. And so, you know, when you're talking to people, you want to talk to all of them. You have, you know, space for all of them. But literally that guy that's the one who want to go the extra mile and have ownership, right? Want to be an entrepreneur. Want to one day to be able to walk away and not worry about being at a KT, you know, after this 10 or 12 years, right, of putting it together, or 3 to 5 to put it together, but, you know, like to have something solid. We've got to, I just believe, talk more about what it looks like, and then identify people who have gotten there and the lifestyle that they're having, you know, even to be like, with you, an example with your children, and you're able to be with your children, you know, you can select
and Leo's
schools.
with them too, right? So usually like when we go to Taekwondo, it's one parent. We are one of the only families where both of us in the middle of the day can be there. But people don't see we did our 10 years, right? And I think like we put in that time, and we're, I think when the kids are in school, we'll work a lot more again, right? But the sacrifice up front is what gave that freedom today.
Right. But I think all of those things have so much more value with business owners.
Absolutely.
And even with wherever they're working now, to talk about, you know, like whose family are you taking care more of? You know, the company that you work with or your family.
So true. So true.
So we got to identify, you know, like what ownership will really mean for them. And there again, you know, like to start them talking about what would they do different if money wasn't an object.
I think the idea that stuck with me, or concept for all these years, was you are renting your time. If you have a job, you're renting your time, the best years of your life, all your talents, all your skills. You walk away with really nothing. Versus giving your time to build something that's for you and your family. People would say like, why would you guys be willing to move? You know, we've done the business in 3 countries. And moving's not easy anytime. Say, why would you do that? Did your job move you? No, our job didn't move us. We moved us. Because we own it, it was worth it.
But look where you are with your moves. There are people that have to move. That their companies move them. But they still end up with not having what you guys have at this point.
So all worth it, but not for an employer, only for ourselves.
Correct. Right? You got to be thinking about ownership. I just believe, and I tell folks this all the time, people come to America because of the freedom to be able to build a business. And so I just, you know, we got to realize the value in that and to go for it. And then it's up to them. You know, like how big do you want your business to be? You know, what do you want your income to be coming in? At what point do you want income coming in that you don't have to physically go work for it anymore?
That's it. And then get to do what you do. The inspiring, motivating, coaching, the big picture stuff.
And I love it. I wake up in the morning and I'm calling my guys, you know, to talk to them. I love it, man. You know, and so if that's retirement, you know, bring it to me. You know, I run
I'll take
a breakfast
retirement
club.
like yours.
I'm saying, I run a breakfast club there. You know, I show up at the op. Don't tell them, okay? Not all the time. You with me?
Really?
Yeah, I don't show up at all.
Oh, you are selling the dream.
Listen, if you got to show up at your opportunity meeting in order for it to run up to 35 years, you chose the wrong opportunity, I believe. I think you've got a time for that. And then we have seasons that we got to do more now, right? But ownership will allow you to do that. When you go to McDonald's, Wendy's, or whatever, the owner's not the one that's giving you the burger or the fries.
True.
But yet they put in the time, the effort, and the training in order for that to happen. Yeah. Absolutely.
Which for us, the capital is our effort.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
And I think the personal growth, teaching your mind to think like a business person.
Right.
Like when I do the presentations and I talk about it, you'll see two different reactions when it comes to recruiting. The middle class mindset thinks that recruiting is weird.
Yes.
The world class mindset thinks it's totally a normal part of all businesses.
Right.
Right. And so because so often we're recruiting people who have not grown up in business-minded homes.
Lady with a dog.
Yeah.
Okay, go on. Excuse
You and the dog.
Yeah.
There is such a big gap. I think that's where people need to focus their efforts, to start thinking like a business person and looking at the company as a business person,
right,
instead of just a salesperson.
And you know what else? I think about the legacy. Like you could leave something.
What a legacy.
Even when I worked as a registered nurse, if my daughter or my son, who are both in the business, both six-figure income earners, but even if my daughter or my son had decided to take my position as a supervisor,
I love when you say
Nicole, they would not have been able to do it. They would still have to work from the bottom.
Yeah. Peggy, even my friend, her father was a pediatrician. She became a pediatrician.
Yes.
But he sold his practice back to Rush Hospital, and then Rush brought her on as an employee to treat his patients.
Yes.
And so he even couldn't, and he told me it wasn't like selling a Primerica business. It was minimal.
Yes.
Even he didn't have the freedom to give her a business, and she had the same certifications in the same major.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the last thing kind of on my mind lately, I don't know about you, but I came across a few situations that show that our model is actually in almost every business. So a friend of mine's a hairdresser.
Yes.
And she came over and she said, "Oh my God, the owner of the salon today is freaking out."
Oh, wow.
Because his head esthetician, who had 1,300 clients, walked out and took the client list with her.
Oh, you see.
Right? So she's become his competition now.
Yeah.
But here's what I found so interesting. He was paying her $100,000 a year, but she was bringing in $300,000 a year.
Wow.
So of course she went on her own, right?
That's right.
Having a hairdresser, I keep seeing it in other businesses.
Sure.
Yet in our business, people continue to wonder, well, why would I recruit? Well, do you want to be the salon owner? And do you want to have lots of people? But the missing link in our business is that if you don't give that person, that high achiever, a chance to ownership, they personally are going to leave.
Sure.
So because we can promote our VPs, I feel like that's the magic.
That's awesome.
Right? They can have the highest contract. We still make a percentage. And so we're pushing them up. And that's, I feel, why high achievers, they never have to leave. Like, we can just keep growing here, you know?
I tell you, the system that Primerica have is unreal.
It is.
Most business people don't even understand it. They can't believe it, because it's so good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Peggy, it has been amazing spending time with you. Thank you for everything that you do.
Mine.
Can't wait to see you continue to grow this and keep inspiring us all.
I'm excited about you guys and all of those even coming after you, because for generations, Primerica will be here and able to service generations of people, so that a lot of our children won't have to be put into those arenas where there's a ceiling and they're shut down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to park right over here and head on in. All right. Thank you again so much.
Thank you.